What's going on, guys? Justin Florio here from Fantasy Flow, and today I'm going to go over some auction draft notes. We're going to go over every single position and some strategies and a few things that I learned from last year's fantasy auction draft. The first auction draft that I've done in over a decade. It's a pretty serious league. It's a $500 buy-in, and I learned a few things as I went through. So let's first off talk about my league is a keeper league. So if you're in a keeper league, one of the most important things, step number one, would be making sure you go and take a look at all the keepers that are being kept within the league. Now, with my league, it's a pretty running back heavy league. Last year, I had three of the better running backs with Christian McCaffrey, Derrick Henry, and Chase Brown. Those were three really good running backs. I traded away McCaffrey for some auction money because I ended up making two trades last year after the draft for Chase Brown, Brian Thomas, and Trey McBride using this upcoming draft's money. So when you're doing an auction draft, I think one of the most important things is to understand you have to use that in your favor. With a draft and a league like this, especially a keeper league, my strategy is get an ultimate team, get some of the best players out there, because number one, if your team isn't playoff bound, you can sell those guys for some future draft capital, or come off season, if you have a lot of guys that are future keepers for the other teams. For my instance, I've got Josh Allen, Trey McBride, Derrick Henry, Chase Brown. Those are all guys that people may potentially want to keep depending on who's on the roster. So I already traded Christian McCaffrey. I got about $15 for him just to up my draft value because I was at the bottom tier. Now I'm right in that middle section, which gives me a little bit of confidence going into this year's draft. But looking right now, I want to start off at the running back position. You can take a look right here. We've got the top 10 guys are most likely not going to be available within my league. You got Jahmyr Gibbs, Robinson, McCaffrey. Those three guys are going for a minimum of 60 points, $60 going in a draft. And then you get this little drop off here. Every guy is under $50. You got Jonathan Taylor, Devin Achane, James Cook, Ashton Gianti, Jeremiah Love's ranked at number 8. You got Saquon and Omarion Hampton. So those 10 guys, besides Jeremiah Love, because rookies aren't going to be on a team, are going to be available, and it's a drop off from those top 3 guys, right? So for me, my biggest thing right now is I'm going to keep Chase Brown, and I'm going to keep Josh Allen, okay? And the reason I tell you that, there was a part of me that wanted to keep Trey McBride, right? Because I feel like having two of the best positional players in Josh Allen and Trey McBride, right? You got the best quarterback, lopsided, and you've got Trey McBride, the best tight end, lopsided. And we'll talk about those numbers in a second. But my strategy within fantasy football, no matter what it is, a draft for a snake or an auction, you need to have running backs. But not only do you need running backs, you need running backs who are almost acting as receivers. So like last year, I went out and I got Debo. And it paid off because there were some plays where he ran the ball in. And I like that because that means there's just more opportunity. Now, there's better players out there, right? Your Puka Nakuas. They're going to help get you more potential within the draft. But running back position here, so say all those 10 guys are out, I'm staying away from Jeremiah Love this year, okay? Because I just don't trust that Cardinals offense. I think the offensive line is going to be trash. He's going to be a receiving running back, but I'm just not going to take my chance on him. Dropping off here, we've got a Derrick Henry, who's ranked at number 11. We've got Kenneth Walker in Kansas City, and you know that Kansas City is going to be extremely heavy on the running game. So you got Josh Jacobs. He's most likely being kept in my league. And then we get this drop off here at about $20 per position running back. Javonte Williams, Breece Hall. I'm going to slot him in right here because I like Breece Hall. He is a receiving running back. So now I've got Chase Brown and Breece Hall as my top 2 running backs. And Breece Hall right now is going for an average of 22. One of the biggest things I learned last year from doing a draft as an auction, that 22 average could very well balloon up to a 30-point difference, right? He might go for 35 in my league if someone's really heavy. Maybe there's a Jets fan in my league. I am from the tri-state area. Someone's really high on Breece Hall, that might go up to 30. I'm not going to touch it. For instance, one of my best draft last year in my league was Devontae Adams. He was going for an average of $26, and I got him for 22. So those are the steals that you want to look for as a fantasy owner. But this year, I'm going to go for a Breece Hall. Why? Because he's, number one, not really going to split a lot of carries. He's their main back, and he is a receiving back. So he's going to be a 3-down back, and he's going to get a lot of catches for a PPR league. That is a huge bonus, and that's the same thing with Chase Brown. So we're going to go with him. Travis Etienne, I'm a little worried about this year. I don't know how that split carry is going to be with Alvin Kamara. You know Alvin Kamara loves being in New Orleans. You know he wants to play. And I do kind of trust that offense with Kellen Moore. But I'm not going to go all in on Etienne because he didn't do it that well last year when he wasn't even the sole back. But I don't trust it. The next best running back that I see available on my board is, and I'm going to pass over Kyren Williams, right? I know I love Kyren. I love the Rams offense. I just think we're going to see this new distribution between him and Blake Corum. And then Cam Scatterbo, the same thing. I think the Giants are going to run the rock a lot, but I think we're going to see a nice mixture between him and Tyrone Tracy. So I'm going to skip those guys. Now we're all the way down to the 20th spot. And this is really important because if you're taking a look at your team right now and you don't have good running backs, all of a sudden we're down to the 20th spot. But I really like this guy because, again, he's a receiving running back, and he's going to get a majority of the carries in Cleveland in Quinton Judkins. As long as he can stay healthy, I think he is a winner. And now that's an average right now of about 15. We'll cap it at 25. And like I said, Breece Hall, he's getting capped at 22. So we're going to cap him at about $30. So that's $55. And that's why we're keeping Chase Brown and Josh Allen, because take a look at this really quick. In my league, I only have 111 points to use. Josh Allen right now is going for an average of 28. I can tell you right now, it was probably the same last year, but I got him for about 45. So that $45, and then if you take a look at Chase Brown down here, he's number 12, he's going for 30. That would have been 75 of my fantasy dollars going towards those two guys, and that's if Chase Brown goes for 30. The only guy that I'm going to keep an eye on in the draft, very similar to the Devontae Adams pick that I had last year, is someone like Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry is projected to go for 32 points, but a lot of people might not trust that Ravens offense, and he might go for a 28-30 piecer. So if I can get him for under value of what he's actually worth, Derrick Henry was a guy that I'm going to take. I don't believe he's going to lose a lot of carries to Justice Hill. He gets an occasional catch or two in a game. But for the most part, Vegas has him second behind Jahmyr Gibbs as the leading rushing touchdown scorer. So why not take your chance, right? Goal line opportunities, Derrick Henry's going to get it. Derrick Henry's always good for a solid 30, 40-yard breakaway run in any game. And who knows, the Ravens might actually be a really good team. So Derrick Henry is one of those guys that I'm going to put on my list of you got to watch him. And now as we go deeper in, right, say you don't get Quinton Judkins. Now we're all the way down to this point where we've got running backs that are under that $10 value point. Bucky Irving, Trayvon Henderson. I like that. Trayvon Henderson's being ranked higher than Ramondre Stevenson, but again, I just don't like that. Trayvon Henderson is a receiving back, though, so if he starts to catch a lot of balls, I like that. One guy that I do like, again, I want to see how he does in the preseason this upcoming weekend, is Jadarian Price. The man is an absolute beast. I run a personal training studio, so I love watching how these players exercise and strength and condition. Jadarian Price is a freak athlete, and the reason I like him, a few different reasons. The Seahawks lost all their running backs, right? I'm going to write down Price right now because I actually really like him. They lost all their running backs. Kenneth Walker's in Kansas City. Charbonnet tore his ACL, Achilles last year. He's out. Jadarian Price is the main back. Now, a lot of people will say that they don't trust him because he wasn't really a receiving back. He didn't play enough to show us that he could have been a receiving back, right? Jeremiah Love was the number one back in Notre Dame, and I like that Jadarian Price is fresh, right? Jeremiah Love is coming off of a lot of workload in Notre Dame. Jadarian Price is as fresh as you can get, and he's coming into a Super Bowl winning team. That offense is a really good offense. So I really like Jadarian Price, and he's going for an average of 7.9. You can get him for a 10 or 12 range. I'm going to go all in on that. Another guy I like, but I'm worried that he's going to split a lot of carries. And that's where this drop-off comes in, right? You get all these big names down here. You've got Brayshawn Tootin. Who is he going to split carries in Jacksonville? We don't know. He could be the main back in Jacksonville, and they have a pretty serious receiving team, so he might get some really good opportunities. Tootin's another guy. Again, he's going for an average of 7. DeAndre Swift, he's probably going to split a lot of carries with Monungai, and he's getting older now, right? But DeAndre Swift is a receiving back. So there's a lot of these drop-off guys down here that are going for an average, here we go, under 5. Tony Pollard. But is he going to be splitting carries with Tyjae Spears? You got Jaylen Warren. I have loved him from day one, but he wasn't really Aaron Rodgers' guy. But if he got the occasional catch or two, again, from a PPR perspective, that's a good guy. But now he's going to be splitting carries with Rico Dowdle, who absolutely crushed it in Carolina, who we're going to talk about next. Chuba Hubbard. He's your next guy. He's going for an average of 1.9. J.K. Dobbins just got hurt yesterday. Jonathan Brooks is the guy that I would keep an eye on from Carolina's standpoint. Didn't play last year. He got hurt. I really like him. Kenneth Gainwell, I like that in Tampa Bay. But again, is he going to be... Tampa Bay just has so many running backs that are going to split too much. Washington is an interesting watch. Their first listed running back at number 40 is Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. And he had some really good games last year. He's a receiving back, so I like that. And then you can obviously go grab some of those backup running backs. Like you've got Brian Robinson Jr., the backup for Bijan. Alvin Kamara, right? He's a hit or miss if Travis Etienne isn't the guy. Tank Bigsby on the Eagles. You want to get those backup workloads in case you're Saquon, Bijan, Isaiah Pacheco, in case Jahmyr Gibbs goes down. So that's kind of my spiel right now for the running back position. And there's not many other guys deeper in the league that I'm really looking for. Maybe no. For the most part, there's really nothing else that I'm looking for. I'm looking deep here. I'm at number 75. And there's nothing. Maybe a Jadon Blue starts to steal some carries from Javonte Williams, but I'm not faithful in that. So the 4 running backs that I'm looking at from an auction standpoint, you got Derrick Henry, if his value stays lower than his actual value in the draft. Price on the Seahawks, he's their main guy. He's coming off a fresh season. Jeremiah Love took all the wear and tear last year, and he's in Seattle, right? He's not playing for the Arizona Cardinals. He's playing for the Seattle Seahawks. They went out and they got their piece. Breece Hall, he's one of those guys who's probably going to take a majority of the carries and catches. Geno Smith, and then Quinton Judkins. I like those guys at running back. So we filled in that running back position. Those are the 4 guys that we're going to go pretty heavy on, and that's only 55 points. I would have been spending 45 just on Josh Allen alone. So that's why I'm keeping Josh Allen. Now, let's go to the wide receiver position quick, because we don't need a quarterback. Wide receiver is very important, but again, in my league, I'm pretty capped, right? Your Puka Nacua is taken, 57 points. There's a drop-off here too, watch. You got Puka Nacua, Jamar Chase, Jackson Smith-Njigba, Amon-Ra, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. If you can trade for him, I think he's going to be a breakout player this year. Whether it's with JJ or with the kid from Arizona, Murray. Rashee Rice, I don't trust. A.J. Brown, I don't trust. But that's the drop-off right there. So after Drake London at 7, You get this 40-point drop. You get 40 points for all those guys up and above, 40 to 60. And then Rashi is at that 30-point. And then A.J. Brown's at 27. Nico Collins is going to be available in my league, but he's going for 27. Again, because I'm going to write Nico, Collins is one of those guys, and I guess that's kind of my strategy here, right? He's going for 27. If I can get him for 32, I would think of that as a steal. Nico Collins is the number one receiver in Houston. CJ Stroud had an off year last year. The year before, people were saying that he was an MVP caliber quarterback. You got Tank Dell coming back. You got Jaden Higgins. After last year, he showed some flashes. So they went out and got David Montgomery. The Houston Texans could be a good team, and Nico Collins is an explosive guy. So I'm going to keep my eye on Nico Collins, because if his value stays under at the draft, and I can get him for that 28-32, that to me is a steal, because not a lot of people are going to be high on Nico after his drop-off year last year. George Pickens, I don't trust. Chris Olave, he's going to be a keeper in my league. Garrett Wilson, but the thing with Garrett Wilson, and if I don't get Breece Hall, I'll go Garrett Wilson, right? I'm going to take one of those two Jet guys. I'm not saying the Jets are going to be good this year, but they're going to be down, so they're going to be constantly giving the ball to positional players, which is the reason I like those two guys. I am high on both of them. Malik Neighbors has dropped off at 14. I think that's absolutely ridiculous. He's a number one receiver in the NFL. He's just coming off of an injury. Tetero McMillan. This is a guy I need you guys to keep an eye on. Forget anything that happened in the first half of last year. Forget anything that Bryce Young did in the first half of last year. Think about what he did in the second half of the season. Everything turned on. Carolina was a good team in the second half, and I really like Tetero McMillan. Now, I'm not putting him in my lineup because I don't think I'm going to be able to afford all them. But if you can get a Tetero McMillan, he's going for 19. If you can get him for anywhere from 25, I think that's a steal. Zay Flowers, another guy, $18. He might drop off, right? You might be able to get him for that $18. People might not trust it. New Baltimore offense. Emeka Egbuka, whatever Gronkowski said. Again, 17. Devontae Adams, I'm not going to trust. But here are two guys that I really like at number 20 and 21 ranked from an ESPN projection. You got Ladd McConkey. That's the guy I want on my lineup. Right? Ladd McConkey is going for $14. Take a look at what he did in the playoffs 2 years ago. Last year was an off year for the Chargers. I think the Chargers are going to have a crazy comeback year, and Ladd McConkey is going to be the main guy for Justin Herbert, besides Njoku and Gadsden. T. Higgins. So if I don't get McConkey, I'm going all in on T. Higgins. I'm going to stay away from Scary Terry, only because I don't trust that the quarterback situation isn't going to be healthy. Jalen Waddle, I love it. I love it there, but I just don't know who's going to get it more. Cortland Sutton, Waddle. Is Bo Nix going to be able to get it to both of them? Are they going to be like the Cowboys last year, right? Is George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb, are they the main guys? Are they going to be the two best receivers? Jameson Williams, I'm going to possibly go for, but I wouldn't spend more than $10 on him. All right? DJ Moore, I'm staying away from him. Rome Odunze, staying away from him. Just because Chicago has so many weapons. DJ Moore's, again, like if DJ Moore is available, he's at 8.3. I kind of like Khalil Shakir more in Buffalo this year. DK Metcalf. Boom. DK. He's going right now for an average of $4 in a draft. That's an absolute steal. And the next guy, Marvin Harrison Jr. He drops the ball in practices. Don't worry, he's going to catch the ball this year. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going for an average of $4 per draft. That's ridiculous. And I know DK is going to be looked down upon with a lot of people because of Michael Pittman coming there, but DK Metcalf is DK Metcalf. He's got a year under his belt with Aaron Rodgers. He understands it, and McCarthy's going to want to throw him the ball. All right? And then going down deeper in this list, I love Brian Thomas, BT Jr., Brian Thomas Jr. on the Jaguars. I know that they have Parker Washington, and they have the other kid with Jacoby Myers, but I really like Brian Thomas this year. I think he has a comeback year, sophomore slump, freshman year. Again, freshman year, they were saying that he was probably one of the best receivers in football. And then he had this drop off. Trust the process. Trust the process. Going deeper here, I'm not going to take Travis Hunter. If it's a defensive league, obviously you grab him if you have a defensive player. Debo, I'm tempted. I'm going to put Debo in my list. And then it kind of drops off from there. Stephon Diggs in Washington, maybe. Xavier Worthy, Khalil Shakir, like I said. Here we go. KC Concepcion. Oh my goodness. What did we talk about before? Debo Samuel, he's a running back and a receiver. KC Concepcion with Cleveland is going to be a running back and a wide receiver. He's going to get a lot of different looks. I like it. He's an explosive player. I'm going to keep my eye on him. And he's going for an average of $1 per salary cap draft right now in auctions. That's an absolute steal. And then you get your guys like Jerry Jeudy, you get a Cooper Kupp, those bigger name guys that you can snag towards the end of a draft. Tank Dell is kind of enticing as well. All right, so right now we have this team, from my perspective of drafting, we're going to keep Josh Allen, keep Chase Brown. Right, those are our two keepers. We saved a lot of money keeping those two guys. And then we're going to go out and we're going to get Ladd McConkey at 25, Breece Hall, Nico Collins, and Quinton Judkins. So we have the flex. We have our two receivers. Now we just need a tight end position, right? And I think there's a lot of steals. That's what we're about to talk about. And then we need a defense and a kicker. And I'm not going to go too much deeper into detail on that. So from the tight end perspective, again, we've got this major drop off, and there's a part of me that kind of regrets not wanting to keep Trey McBride. But let me give you a quick strategy on my end. So I could trade Trey McBride right now in my draft, pre-draft, for $5, and I can get those $5 going into the draft, right? Or, and I explained this to the person who wants him, but he won't give me $5. He wants to give me $4. I want $5. We can't agree to terms. So the best strategy that you can do right now, from my perspective, is let him go into the pot. I explained to the guy, you give me $5, you get Trey McBride, you get the best tight end in football right now. But if you don't give me $5, you're going to end up spending probably $40, $45 on Trey McBride in the draft. And to me, that's a win for me, because that's $40 or $45 that he's going to take away from his pocket so that he can have Trey McBride. It's a no-brainer, right? Brock Bowers, same thing, $30. Colston Loveland, $15. You see that drop off? You got 30 all the way down to 15. Now this is where it gets fun. This is where it's going to be controversial. I'm going to tell you who I like. I love Tyler Warren. He was a workhorse last year. He's exactly what you want on your team. He reminds me of a Brock Bowers and a Trey McBride. He has that same work ethic, and whether it's Anthony Richardson or Daniel Jones, no matter what, the Colts are going to be throwing the ball to Tyler Warren. He's the main guy, and they just lost Michael Pittman, right? So their main receiver is Downs. So their main guy is Tyler Warren, which is the reason I love Tyler Warren this year. He's going for an average right now in a draft at $12. I'm willing to spend up to $20 to $25 on him so that I can have him. Harold Fannin Jr., I'm going to stay away from. Kyle Pitts is my second guy that I really like. I'm going to keep my eye on Kyle Pitts. Travis Kelce, I'm willing to, and again, like I did in my last video, right? From a tight end perspective, I'm willing to have a Travis Kelce and a Mark Andrews on my team so that I have that name brand on my team. Dallas Goedert, honestly, George Kittle, Tucker Kraft is a steal. He's going for an average of $2. The Packers just lost a lot of receivers. So Tucker Kraft is one of those secret guys who you know is going to be a workhorse. And if he did not get hurt last year, he probably would have been a top 5 tight end in the league. And then the fall off from there, you got Hunter Henry, who I would possibly work around with. And then you've got this Njoku Gatson, Orande Gatson. He had that ridiculous, I think it was a Thursday night game last year, and he showed bits of flashes. And then you got Mark Andrews. Again, Mandrews, the Ravens might change up their entire thing. And Mark Andrews, is Lamar Jackson's guy, right? In the red zone, he's going to look for Mark Andrews. Zay Flowers isn't really a red zone guy. So, for the most part, I'm trying to go all in on Tyler Warren. And these are my 5 guys that I'm going to go all in. I've got 62, 100, $2, $127 that I need to be able to budget with, which is not going to break me too. Is not going to get me through it. And most likely what's going to happen is I don't end up getting either Nico Collins or Ladd McConkey. I'll probably get one of them, but I won't get both. And that's okay, because I'm fine with pairing a Ladd McConkey with a Marvin Harrison Jr. But 2 things that I really want to stress right now. Number 1 is you don't want 2 guys on the same team for the most part, which is one of the reasons why I'm willing to get rid of Trey McBride, because I'm willing to take a risk on a Marvin Harrison Jr. this year. So keep that stuff in mind, right? You don't want a Chase Brown and a Jamar Chase. Unless you want to have a cool name called like the Chase Brothers or something ridiculous. You can pair a quarterback with a receiver, right? You can do Josh Allen with DJ Moore, Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, examples like that, right? I'll go over the quarterbacks really quick. Again, the drop-off is absolutely ridiculous. You got Josh Allen going for an average of $28, and then you got Lamar Jackson at number 2 going for an average of 15. Drake May going for 11. Jaden Daniels going for 10 because he's the runner. My secret with the draft is that you want to go with a quarterback who's going to be both a running back and a quarterback, because you want to get double the points. That's why I'm keeping Josh Allen. He's a running back and a quarterback. Jalen Hurts had a big drop-off last year. I'd keep my eye on him. Lamar Jackson, again, if you can get him for a steal, he's going for 15. You get him anywhere from 15 to 20, I'm willing to take that risk. Jaden Daniels, yes, he got hurt last year. Maybe he has a comeback here if he stays healthy. Jackson Dart, Dak Prescott, Caleb Williams. These guys run the ball. Patrick Mahomes is ranked at number 11 right now. I know they're going to run the ball more, but I would be willing to take him. Trevor Lawrence is a running machine. He gets rushing touchdowns every season. He's going for an average of $4. I'd be willing to take a Trevor Lawrence on my team. Bo Nix runs the ball. Justin Herbert runs the ball. Kyler Murray is a huge risk, but possibly a great reward. Baker Mayfield's playing on a contract year, so I would be keeping an eye on Baker Mayfield, who's going for an average of $0.7. You know what I mean? CJ Stroud, coming off a really bad year, going for an average of 50 cents a draft. That's insane to me. I'm willing to take that risk. And then you got Cam Ward, Brian Dable, the offensive guru, the quarterback guru, comes into Tennessee. Could this be his year? Bryce Young, again, going for 30 cents. There's a lot of quarterbacks at that position that kind of really drop off. But my one secret guy, as I turn this video off, that I think you should be keeping an eye on this year, I don't even see him in the top 45. Is he really ranked below him? Let me just check this out. Let me check it out. I like Daniel Jones, right? He's a runner. Anthony Richardson, whoever's going to be the guy in Indianapolis, keep an eye on for them. Where is he? Oh my goodness, is he not even ranked in the top 100? Okay, let's see. All right. I don't see him. I see Joe Milton. I see Brady Cook. He's not even in the top 100. Where is he? Oh my goodness. There's no way he's this deep. No way. These guys aren't even on teams. It's Deshaun Watson. That's my guy this year. Deshaun Watson, sorry. He's ranked at number 36. If Shedeur Sanders does not get that starting position, I've been watching a lot of videos of Deshaun Watson, and he has a quick release. He slings the ball. I really like Deshaun Watson this year, and he's gone for $0, right? So he's not getting drafted anywhere. There you go. There you have it. I hope this video helps you. It was about 30 minutes. I'm sorry. Either listen to it on a car ride. If you have any questions, please leave a comment. Only here to help you guys. Have a beautiful day. Fantasy Flow here. See you next time.